Late last week, Florida's Office of the Inspector General came out and they said that Rebekah Jones, the fired data analyst from the Florida Department of Health, is in fact a whistleblower and as such is entitled to all of the protections that a whistleblower is legally entitled to, up to and including possible back pay and reinstatement to her former position. Now, if you're not familiar with the story of Rebekah Jones, here it is in a nutshell. Last year, Rebekah Jones, working in the Florida Department of Health, was told, according to her, by officials, by higher-ups, to alter COVID data, to screen some of it away from the public, so that we couldn't see here in the state of Florida how bad our Trump-loving governor Ron DeSantis was screwing things up. Didn't want to know the total number of cases, didn't want to know the death toll, didn't want any of that information becoming public. So they told Jones, who had come up with an algorithm to accurately track these kinds of things, stop doing what you're doing, change up some of the data so that we look like we're handling it better than everybody else. This is a massive scandal. Okay, this is actually bigger than what Andrew Cuomo had done with the nursing home data in the state of New York, because this wasn't limited to nursing homes here in the state of Florida. This was literally everyone. Not writing off what Cuomo did. Cuomo should be removed for what he did, but DeSantis should be tried criminally in court for what he did. And when Rebekah Jones refused to alter this data, she says she was fired. And now it's gone before the Office of Inspector General. They have investigated this, looked into it, and they said, you know what? She's a whistleblower. So here's what that means. First and foremost, it means that her claims are pretty much validated at this point. If she had been totally lying about what happened, if she didn't have any evidence of this, which, by the way, the federal authorities a while back did in fact raid her home, took electronic devices, took everything she had. And now they've come out and said, yeah, based on what we know, she is in fact a whistleblower. She observed behavior, reported on the observed behavior, and then was fired for doing that. Now, this story... And this, by the way, I'm reading this out of the Miami Herald. They also took some shots at Rebekah Jones, too. Tried to paint her as no angel. Saying, oh, she has a investigation for cyber stalking in the past, though no charges were ever filed. Oh, they got onto her earlier this year for hacking into a state system. So they're trying to say, well, we can't. No, shut the hell up. That's not even relevant to this particular story. The woman was trying to tell Floridians exactly what was happening in our state, that our governor, Ron DeSantis, was covering up. That's what the story is, Miami Herald. You don't need to throw in any of that extra crap. But this should be national headline news across the country. That's how big this story is. And especially with somebody like Ron DeSantis polling third in potential Republican 2024 presidential polls. Yeah, this is the kind of thing everybody needs to know about, that he fired a woman for trying to accurately report how bad he was handling COVID. I think that warrants maybe a couple of ads to run here in the state of Florida. Lincoln Project, where you at on that, huh? All you other, liberal groups out there, liberal PACs, where are you with these ads? This came out Friday. And I've seen y'all turn around ads in under 24 hours. Where are the ads? Why are we not going after this as viciously and constantly as possible? Not just to derail Santis's chances of becoming president of the United States, but mostly because the public needs to know. Because we need to understand here in the state of Florida that we do not have a handle on this thing. We never did because of Ron DeSantis. And now he's sitting there getting in fights with cruise ship companies because he wants to make vaccine passports illegal. And cruise ships want to say, listen, we got to pack everybody in like sardines, and we don't want to bring COVID on our ships. That's kind of where this whole thing started with us. And DeSantis is quite literally whistling past the graveyard, pretending that none of this is real, that COVID isn't still ravaging his state. Hundreds of cases per day. A week and a half ago, we were getting thousands of cases a day still. And this guy's been covering it up since the very beginning. I want to see ads on this. I want this on my TV. I want this to be headline news across the country. When Cuomo did it with the nursing homes, it was headline news. We covered it extensively here, over at Ring of Fire, everywhere. All of progressive media did. It's time for the same to happen to DeSantis, because what he did is arguably worse than what we have seen from any Republican-controlled state during this pandemic.